Hey guys, this is Adwan Gaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the end game fight, the Abyssoluses, yes, I hope I said it right. Basically the end game boss for season 3. I already made a video where I did a full guide, so if you want to check that one out, I'm going to pin it at the end over here or over there on the other side as a card, so you can go check that one out and you can go and basically that should help you understand all the stuff that the boss does. And that was explained as the under 50% side. However, it seems like even though we're over the 50% mark, where it says over here behind me, difficulty will be increased when the boss's HP reduces to 50%. It kind of didn't change much. I think the only thing that changed is maybe the boss hits a bit harder, but that's about it. When it comes to the mechanics, there's nothing much happening. So what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you my rally team for this one, and I'm going to try and give you, some ideas, some ways to deal with this and whatnot, because it's it's a pretty tough one this season. I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit tough, and honestly, don't even have one team that can hit 200 million, so that makes it a little bit more complicated. I will have a video on all of my 6 teams. I already did Shadow. I'm doing this one today with Rally, and then I'm going to have 4 more where I show you the other teams. So basically, this team that I'm using relies on the 5 people that you see over here, which is Filto as my DPS, as my main one. This one can be Thalendor, it can be Huberg, it can be Welby, whoever is one of your best DPS. Then the second one I'm using Tathlin. Honestly, Tathlin is really amazing in this team because of the fact that he has a triple hit on the ultimate, okay, which allows me to use him as one of the other rally DPS, but at the same time he can be my Witch's Remains. Then the next one that I'm using is Lorenthiel, which is arguably one of the best enablers for rally, because whenever he's this is the thing that you want to keep in mind, and this is one of the things that I misunderstood, and it made me think, why does this not work properly? And it's because I misunderstood Lorenthiel's kit. So I always thought that whenever Lorenthiel creates the domain, that's when he places rally on everybody, but that's not how it goes. What he does is he creates a domain for 15 seconds, whenever allies consume rally, they gain 25% ultimate energy. Okay, and thus he consumes rally if the hero is under rally when casting this ultimate, and grants 40% attack up to all rally allies. So that's what makes him the best enabler for this one. Obviously, if you don't have Lorenthiel, you'd go with whoever is your next best one. You could go, I don't know, with Alton, with, again, whoever is your best rally enabler if you don't have Lorenthiel. But this team that I'm going to show you is pretty much specifically working around Lorenthiel, because it allows me to basically do my ultimates twice during the whole 30-second rotation, basically every 15 seconds. And this is what makes it really good, is whenever Lorenthiel's ultimate fully recharges, he grants rally to all allies for 10 seconds. Now, we do want to keep this in mind, because rally is a buff that can be blocked by the boss whenever the boss does the... whenever the boss does the buff prohibition. So this one happens at the 18-second mark, and then we have another 6, another 12. So basically, this one, you can land the rally at 30.3. I'm going to show you the preset as well, because at 30.3, the buff prohibition goes off. However, you can basically mitigate that buff prohibition by bringing somebody in your team that brings you 2 buffs before the boss goes with that buff prohibition, and that's where my Mithrasia is coming in. But then the other DPS, you can see, is Hedgeo, and then I have Mithrasia, that's basically an sister protection. She's here for the healing on the battle skill, and then for these 2 buffs. So let me just run the team and explain a little bit how all of this goes, and then actually let me show you the presets first, and then we run the team as I explain how things go, so you pretty much can have an idea and see how you can copy it. So the way that I'm doing this is I put Lorenthiel to do his ultimate at 13.5, then every 15 seconds. You're gonna see that all the rally people are at 15 seconds, and only Mithrasia is every 30 seconds. So Lorenthiel goes first, 13.5. Then we have Tathlin, which is going to be landing the Witch's Remains at 14. Then at 15.3 is Filto, and then at 15.5 is Hedgeo. The reason why I'm doing it like this is because if we add the 15 seconds to this one, this goes at 30.3, this one goes at 30.5. What this one's going to do, it means that my Lorenthiel is going to be the first one that does damage, so that means that the boss does not get that solidity stack to take reduced damage, and only after that my Hedgeo will go. I will obviously want my best DPS to be the one going first. And then Mithrasia, I noticed that at 15 is the right mark for her to use her ultimate, and that basically covers me with the with the boss's buff prohibition, because the way that this one actually works is not explained properly. So this one says, deals necrotic damage to all allies twice, each to all enemies twice, each time has a 100% chance of dispelling one buff from them. Additionally, inflicts buff prohibition on them for 10 seconds if they aren't granted any buffs. This one's bad description. Basically, what this one means is if it doesn't remove 2 buffs, so if you have 2 or more buffs, then it's not going to land buff prohibition. However, if you only have 1 buff and the boss removes that, the second time he's going to land buff prohibition. That's going to make things, you know, mess up for you with the way that you're trying to do the rally. So as an example, if you want to try and do this so that your rallies always land at the right time and you're not, you know, the rally is not blocked by the buff prohibition, then what you need to do is you need to find the perfect rotation to get Laurentiel to always gain the second rally after 30.3 after the 30.3 seconds mark, because if he does it before that, well, he's not going to be able to give rally to all the allies, and he's not going to be able to activate his ultimate to give increased attack to all the allies, because again, the rally by Laurentiel is placed by the passive. So if he has full ultimate energy, so if you have too much skill haste and he has full ultimate energy, if you, again, only if you have 1 buff, then he will not be able to place rally, because even if you don't use your ultimate, he hits full ultimate energy and then just pretty much it stops. And at the same time, the problem is if you don't do it in the 30.3 and 30.5 mark as well, like if you don't manage to hit the ultimate exactly at that time, and then hit the full ultimate bar at the exact time, and then you don't use his ultimate by 30.5, then the problem is the boss will hit you and is going to push back your ultimate energy, is going to throw it all out of tune. So it is a little bit quirky, it is a little bit complicated, but those are, you know, a few things that you definitely want to keep in mind. So as an example, let's say you don't have Mithrasia in this team, okay? Or maybe you cannot afford to have 3 DPS, okay? So the way that you would do it, or the way that I would suggest, is just have somebody that brings you healing, okay? So maybe have somebody like a Garius in this fight. It can work with just Garius, but then you would have to keep in mind that you will get the buff prohibition on yourself. And if that happens, then getting that 30.3 seconds is going to be complicated. Or you can have Garius as the healer, and then you can bring somebody else in the team that brings you 2 buffs. So see whoever you have in the rally plus fire that brings you 2 buffs, land them before this one is cast, which is at 18 seconds, and then you should be pretty much fine using the exact other rotations like I am, okay? You might just have, like I say, you might just have Garius and somebody else, or you might have somebody like a who else does some good healing? I guess maybe somebody like a Rose, but then Rose doesn't bring healing. She brings attack penalty, but she just brings healing. She can help you, I guess, cleanse that buff prohibition, but is not reliable enough. So that's why it's a little bit quirky, and it's all about getting those right buffs and debuffs. However, there is a filter that you can use. Just go click fire, and then you click the fire and radiance, that pairing, and then you go to the filters, and then you click just buffs, you know, buff, and you will see whoever's gonna bring you what you need. One thing I do want to emphasize when we're talking about buffs, which, you know, if you don't know by now, you need to know this, but the shield buff, the shield does not count as a buff, okay? That's why the boss, for example, over here, he has the shield prohibition. So if you have somebody that brings you a buff and shield, then that person might not be the ideal one, because the only one that counts for the buff prohibition side of things is going to be the buff. So if you bring Elminster as an example, Elminster brings you the control immunity on the battle skill, but that's only 5 second, that's only for 5 seconds. So that can be complicated. That might not be as easy to try and speed tune and try to arrange to work. So definitely keep that in mind when you build it. But you see that this one works pretty well. Obviously, Mithrasia is one amazing one. She's one amazing support. She's able to be my only healer and my only buffer at the same time. So it's definitely one of the best ones that you can use in this team. But I'm going to let this run through, and then I guess I'm going to come back at the end. We're going to see that sound damage, and I'm going to show you a little bit the builds. But when it comes to the builds, honestly, the DPS are pretty straightforward. They are all in the aerial roar sets, because Emperor's Might doesn't do as well, and after the 50%, I think that one's pretty much useless. So your next best one would be the Aerial Battle Roar, which I have, I think, on all 4 of them. I think all 4 of my DPS have that, because what that one brings is it converts your crit damage into attack. So the more crit damage you have, the more attack you're going to have, and you're also going to do damage. And it also allows you to get to that 100% crit rate faster, because the 2-piece set from the Aerial Battle Roar also gives you 10% extra crit rate. So anyway, let this finish, and we're going to come back at the end, see the damage, look at the builds, and we're going to discuss, maybe check the other buffers that we can use for this team. So see you in a bit. Okay, so I wanted to come back again just before the end, because I wanted to show you exactly, I'm going to slow it down, why that 30.3 plus 30.5 interval is important. 30.3 buff Prohibition Land, but what happens at 30 up until 35 seconds, so after the boss hits ult, he gets that fragility buff, okay? And if that is on, you basically do 3 times the damage. So look at this. You saw that 1.1 million damage on the hit from Filito for all 3 of his hits, okay? And because of that, with most teams that you're going to build, you're going to want to try and hit that. Because, for example, now, without that fragility buff on, watch how much Filito does. Let me slow it down again. So you're going to see he does only, let's see, did it show 430 something thousand, which obviously is not as good as the other one. Then at the end I usually slow it down, because that when the boss hits 30, this one pretty much ends. So what I'm trying to do at the end is just gonna have Lorenthiel activate, then I'm gonna have Statling, because you see we have just a split second in their interval. Do this one, then I have Filto go, and then I have Hedger go, because otherwise it's just pretty much boom. That's it. I don't get the chance to use the last one. The run is over. But you see, I did hit 173 million, which obviously is pretty good. And considering the champions that I use and the gear that I'm going to show you, you know, it does show that it's pretty tough. It's not as easy. Like, usually the reason why the goal is 200 million is because after you hit 200 million, the boss will take 10% damage only. So it's going to be reduced a lot. So let me just jump in there and quickly show you the builds, because I don't want to make this video any longer. But when it comes to the builds, I have as follows. Filto, like I said, in the Battle Roar, plus with the Eyeball of the Giant. Actually, I think, could I go in there? I don't think I can check this, because I've used it, like in the other one. But I guess let me see, can I go? No, I have to go like this. So let me see, can I now select the teams? I think there was one. Aha, I think I can do it like this. They introduced this, which makes it really amazing, because it makes it a lot easier to just go through all of these ones if I want to try and show you something, instead of having to keep scrolling. Where's that one? Where's this one? So, for example, oh my god, what did I just go out? Do you even play, bro? Do you even content creation? Okay, so these are the 5 people. Like I said, Filto, Inferno, Aerial, Battle Roar. Okay, this is the set, gives you attack crit rate and converts crit damage into more attack. 88% crit rate, 5k attack to 35 crit damage. I do have him in the Eyeball of the Giant, because his ultimate is the one that does a ton of damage. So that's kind of like my goal. Then if you look at Hegio, pretty much same thing, same set with Ravage Exit Roots. This is pretty much the best damage artifact that you can use for your epics or lower. Unless, I don't know, unless there's like some exclusive or stronger legendary one, I found that this one's pretty much one of the best. Again, pretty good stats on him. They don't really care about skill haste or anything else, just as much damage as I could. You're gonna see that everybody has the gloves from the set that makes them do more damage when the enemy is under defense penalty, because you're pretty much gonna have defense penalty on all the time, and that 35% boost is just massive. Then Tathlin, same set, but he's the one that wears the Witch's Remains, because, like I said, he has a triple hit on the ultimate, makes him the perfect candidate for this one. Then Lorenthiel, he is same thing, just basically full damage. And honestly, I just give him this artifact because it gives you more crit rate, okay? It doesn't help him like this part. This is Ozul's exclusive artifact, but it helps me because it gives me 40% crit rate, gives me attack, and that allows me to actually give Lorenthiel some decent damage. He's not the top damage dealer, but still he's going to bring us some damage that gets us closer to the mark. And then the last one, my support Mithrasia, she's in the Horn, which basically is going to boost the damage, because recovery over time counts as every single time it takes, it counts as a heal, so that makes it the best thing to have the Horn. She's in the Ancestral Protection to soak up some of the damage from the squishier ones. And I do have the Mythic chest that gives us a 50-50 chance to increase the healing that she does. So this one's going to be amazing, plus Enlightenment, because that's what her healing scales off of. It's her max HP and then Enlightenment. But yeah, this is pretty much my rally team, which is, you know, one of the top ones that I could do. I'm quite sure there's some 200 millions out there, but still, this boss is tough. So if you see that you can not do all those damages, if you cannot hit over 100 mil by a lot, do not be sad, because you see what I'm using. You know, pretty good legendaries, one of the top DPS and supports for rally, and I still did not hit 200 mil. But anyway, this is gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.